Good day and welcome back to the Student StarCraft AI Tournament. This is the weekly broadcast and I've had some games proposed to me, so I am going to cast those. I also got some games of the human vs AI competition between Antigua and Crazio, which I will be broadcasting later, so not in this one. And today I'm going to start off with a couple of games which have been recommended to me. Later on there will be games which I picked myself because I thought they were interesting, and the reason I'm casting this game is that it is, well, of course I do all recommendations until they get too much, but too many they aren't at the moment, so I can reliably cast all of them. So that's that, and it was described to me as a lot of action, and I always like that. The bots involved are Random Hammer by J. Scott, and of course an LPR bot. Who does not know that one? I didn't, or not very well until now, so I'm just going to have a look and see what it does. Seems to be opening okay with a pack of Zerglings, and at the other end of the map there is a bunker, a couple of Marines. Terran should be safe. How many Marines will be there before the Lings hit? And we've got 4 of them, and the Lings are coming in at once, but with 5 Marines and a bunker, should be the micro. And one more thing, the selection bug should be fixed, so we'll be testing that as well. And the Marine is heading straight for the bunker and makes it into the bunker, but now we've got a lot of SCVs dying to the Zerglings, and that of course is moderately bad news for Terran. The second barracks is finishing up and there is a bit of money in the bank, so that should be a boon to the Terran, especially as the link pressure is continuing. But these SCVs are so strong, and with a couple of Marines as backup they should be okay for now. Lings are retreating and the low HP Lings are retreating further back, so that's that, as they say. Terran sort of holds, but these Marines are a little over ambitious, but with 2... Yeah, there we go. Lings getting drawn to the bunker, and then they die. Bunker not sublimely placed, but it's okay. And with 2 barracks, I think you could do a world of good versus a handful of Zerglings. The Zergling stream seems to abate a little bit because the drone production will have to be recontinued. 9 workers and more coming up. Oh, more Lings. That's good. Always nice to keep a bit of pressure on your enemy. But now we've got a Terran established with 2 barracks. The worker count is slowly climbing again. And with these 2... Oh dear, they should be careful. Although 2 Zerglings aren't all that dangerous, but these Marines are venturing out way too far for my taste, and Terran is just losing a lot of Marines. Going to speed it up the initial stages. I'm not going to disclose the length of this game now. 4 Marines should be enough with a little bit of micro to stave off the Zerglings, and it's going to be a lot of Lings versus a lot of Marines. Overlord going to be caught, which will put a stop to a too abundant production of Zerglings, and we've got a lair as well with some gas banked, so for the time being Zerg, yeah, now losing Lings to these Marines. No sunken yet, and with only 2 Marines coming up, ooh, this Marine micro could be a little bit better, I feel, but for the time being Zerg is in an okay position, especially as these Lings... Oh, these Marines get caught, stuck on this Overlord, and this Overlord seems bent on suiciding itself. Now the Lings are back in force, perhaps to a defensive reaction, and are bringing these Marines home if they ever make it that far. We haven't got Ling speed... Oh, sorry, we have got Ling speed, and we'll also get Lurker production. And that seems to be a trend, because Terran bots and Protoss bots and other Zerg bots seem to struggle a lot with Lurkers, as it's a hard concept for an AI to wrap its head around. To deal with a unit that is burrowed, needs a scan, and then you've got to remember where it is. How to deal with it is another chapter entirely. But for the time being, it's a bit of a tug of war between, Marines and drones at the moment, so that's not good. and NLPR bot is supply blocked, so that's going to cost it a lot of drones. That's unfortunate, and the natural for Random Hammer will be up soon. So I think that unless a little bit of lurker magic is about to happen... Ooh, these Lings are really cleaning up. That's so impressive. These Lings with speed versus Marines without medics or fire bats. It's such a sight to behold. And yeah, there was one Marine left here, and now we've got a lurker. So will there be a scan or anything, and if not, how can the Marines deal with these lurkers? They don't want to attack these Lings at all. I hope this is going to be a bunker, doesn't look like it. And we've got the first... Oh, we've got an academy, and we haven't got a comsat, so that would be something to build now, before the academy's down, but there is only one lurker, so that's not too bad. But Zerg clipping a lot of territory, building a lot of hatcheries, and these Lings do pretty well versus these Marines. That's really astounding. And now we've got 2 medics, but oh, they are going to catch up with these 2 Marines. The lurker's still here. Oh, it got clipped. And we've got, oh, in a nick of time, we've got 2 comsats, a couple of turrets, and Terran looks to be in a great position. But this lurker is really doing damage at this point. The medic dies, and the 2 Marines die as well. And with the added economy, NLPR bot is really giving a strong showing. Worker count through the roof, 35 versus 29. And look at all the bases there are. Now with the lair and bring the enemy back home. 2 lurkers! Oh, one more shot would have done so much damage. Unfortunately didn't get to pull it off. And now the Marines are in control, but they are running back for some medics or something. 3rd base coming up for Random Hammer, and although the Zerg is its strongest race, the Terran is looking quite good as well. But now Zerg is on the move, and Zerg is really pulling all the stops, 39 drones, and there is no turret here. There are only a couple of scans, and you don't really bring SCVs to a lurker fight. Doesn't work like that. And Random Hammer is not producing units anymore. I think that's a small mistake, especially as there are a pack of lurkers at your natural. I don't know what that's about, because the money is there is no army, and this is the end of the game. Oh dear, that's very sad. And NLPR bot is, well, showing a good game, really. Lots of workers, almost 50, and lots of unit production. Will we have any additional tech? Looks like that is the additional tech, but if there is not going to be any more army out of Random Hammer, it will be over soon. And that is a lot of macro hatches. Everything's building, everything's working, drones being transferred, so NLPR bot doing pretty well. Leaving the comsat the hell alone, as it's a neutral building by this point, not even, oh, a little bit of splash got attached to it. And that's the game. Oh no, there is a refinery, and the question is, will it now find the last remaining base of Random Hammer? Random Hammer could theoretically make a restart. Doesn't look like it, but you never know. And we've got a Queen's Nest, we've got more macro hatches, Hive being started, Evo chambers being added, and all the bases are being inspected. Or are they? And still there is time for a Random Hammer comeback, but here the drone comes to try and expand, and the entire forces, which number about 45 army supply, are pouring into the Terran command center. So yeah, that's NLPR bot, and I want another one. Sorry for interrupting this important broadcast, but I want another game of NLPR bot. And what I do normally, if I pick a game like this, I'll pick a big one. So this is Eric Hammer versus... No, that's Eric Hammer. I was trying to look for NLPR bot. Bot. Okay, I do it like this, so I have a look and I see, well, what is a large game? Ooh, versus McRave. I like it, versus McRave. So then I'll pop into the game and I say, well, let's have NLPR versus McRave. And I load the replay, and there we go again. So here we go. McRave, the undoubtable Protoss versus NLPR bot, which we saw in a very strong showing versus... God, who was it? That's stupid. I forgot who the opponent was. That's silly. A very strong showing versus someone. Oh, sorry. Oh, damn. Okay, well, let's do that again. It was NLPR bot versus... Oh, it was Random Hammer. Okay, good, Random Hammer. So, this time, McGrave, and I'll try to focus on the action a little bit more while I'll still remember the name of the last opponent, which was Random Hammer, playing Terran. We see McGrave going for a Forge Fast Expand, or at least a Forge. And here comes the Fast Expand. At the other end, we've got a Scouting Probe being obnoxious, and I can select it without the game crashing. Haha, it seems to be working, that's great. And I think it was Jay Scott who said, well, I think it's only selecting Protoss which crashes the game, and someone said, well, it has been fixed now. TSMU's been back, has been updating his Terran and Protoss with some minor updates, he said, but it was... well, one of them is a 5 racks proxy versus Crazio, or non-proxy 5 racks. And that's a bit of a theme this week. I won't be showing it, but everyone has been abusing the hell out of Crazio you get that. If you're the number one, things like that happen. And NLPR bot is going for the same... Oh no, it's not going for the same. It's going for Aspire, 2 base, Muta play. And that's a good play, because there is only 3 cannons, 2 pro... Oh god. This is not good at all, McRave. I thought you were better than this. You're surely not going to let your main Nexus die too. Oh good, there are some mutas as well. Not going to let it die versus 1 drone. The mutas are cleaning up all the workers, and McRave has got a lot of money in the bank, but is somehow stalled. All the workers are there, not here. Okay, well this muta's dying. This probe is trying to rescue things here. It's not really the best play imaginable. And that's going to be the main. There is a lot of money for McGrave still, so perhaps McGrave can bring it back with the cannons. But by now we've got the 3rd base operational for NLPR bot, and I fear that McGrave will not be long for this world if it keeps this up. This is one silly way to lose your main base if you are an established player like McGrave. The cannons, meanwhile, coupled with a couple of goons, are doing quite well. The mutas are flying straight over for some reason. They are not attacking, and they are just dying needlessly. So, one way to lose a main for no good reason, and lose a lot of mutas for no good reason either. There are Scourge for some reason, and they die as well. Meanwhile, McGrave's got the better army supply, but the 3rd is up for NLPR bot. So, in the long run, I think the cards are still stacked in NLPR bot's favor. Losing an Overlord, losing another Muta, and losing another Scourge. So that's so much for throwing away a lot of army. Rebuilding the main, very good. Perhaps build a cannon this time, because there might be an angry drone, although I can't see it really passing these cannons. Scouting probes back again. And are there any drones? Yep, there are drones, and there will be gas soon. NLPR bot is really gas-starved at the moment, so should build some workers, get some more gas going, and it can sacrifice more air units here. Here comes another Overlord and another Muta. So, although it's quite decent, it's not perfect yet. Oh, yeah, good, good, good. Oh, there was almost a Scourge able to harass this worker field even more, or observe it at least. But the goons and... McGrave, what are you doing? McGrave is only rebuilding workers at this point. And all the air forces of NLPR bot are dying, sadly. And I don't think McGrave is rebuilding the goon, or is building a goon army. And this is really awkward, because NLPR bot was doing so well, the worker count is lagging behind that of McGrave. Although the workers here have been replenished, the goons are out now. As you can see, there is no defense at all. Something's building here, but I think it's going to be way too late. And if this is going to be a sunken, it will be way too late either. Yep, there it goes. There goes the natural. There is no army supply at the end of NLPR bot. Another base being taken with 3 complementary drones. but the goons are just going to ravage it all. And oh, I heard a Corsair as well somewhere. Yeah, there it goes. So NLPR bot, good showing versus the Terran branch of Random Hammer. Not yet quite good enough for McRave. McRave making a good comeback after losing its main nexus to a drone, and then some remaining hits by a couple of neuters. So that's that. And yep, when McRave is out on the field, it will find you, it will destroy you. You can have all the bases in the world, but that's not going to help you. So this is this, as they say, I called the GG in favor of McRave, and then one of the other games which have been recommended to me. It's Crazio versus Microwave. Microwave's got an update, and let me show you. Oh no, I need to show the vote screen because there is more information in there. It now does a Lurker attack, bug fix, FAP, Scarab plus medic, whatever that is. Overlord scouting is better, and the Zerg strategies have been improved as well. So let's see how it will fare against Crazio. Crazio, despite being sniped a couple of times by a Zealot Rush's proxy, gateways and 5 Vraxes, is still on top. And I think if you do not hard counter it, it's still the strongest bot out there. Or hard counter it with a pre-configured build order thought out by a human. And perhaps it will learn after a while that it can't go too eco-heavy versus certain players. Now Crazio going for a very safe setup with a bunker, a couple of additional marines and a turret. So it has been Lurker week last week. Lots of players going Lurker, and that's a pest for Terran. And here we go, Microwave is taking a note of that book as well, going for Lurkers, but there is a tank out there already, and with, oh, there is no scan, but there is a turret. Is there an academy yet? No, it's still building. So Crazio, ooh, that's a good shot on the first Lurker. Oh, the SCVs are on the wrong side, that's going to cost them. With 1 Lurker in range and 2 tanks now, 3 tanks, I think for the time being. Ooh, these links should move in while the Lurkers move in as well. Ooh, that's a silly placement for a siege tank, that's unfortunate, but I think just right in time the comsats finish, and with the scan, Crazio moving out, grabbing a little bit of breathing space for itself. No supporting units with that siege tank, and I think that's something you could use with 5 lings here, 5 there, splash damage, yeah, there you go. And Microwave is taking notes from what I say, what pro bot that is. 2 tanks die for nothing, and that's really sloppy if you're on a 2-base Terran versus a 3-base Zerg. Oh, that's a 3rd base for Crazio. Crazio really good on the macro, that's interesting. Is the 3rd defended? Well, not really. A couple of lings could shut it down. That's something to work on, perhaps. But now with the science vessel and the siege tank, Crazio appears to be in a pretty good position to set things up for the mid-game. Now Zerg is going for a lot of Hydras, and I don't know if I really agree with Hydras being a good choice versus a mech composition. These mech units have got such a lot of armor, and of course there are siege tanks which will tear you to shreds if you're a Hydra, but the Hydras keep on the pressure, and the siege tank will be under attack soon. There goes the siege tank, and Crazio appears to be in imminent danger of being broken. The bunker's still there, and the Marines, well, the Marines just hold it versus these very angry but a little bit hurt Hydras. And Crazio under pressure again. The bunker is going down, the mines are all in the wrong places, but there is a Goliath, there is not a Goliath, but it's stuck among the workers. And the turret's going down, 2 Goliaths, and the Hydras are going to move in. Oh, a clump of them moves into the minefield here, but there is a Lurker now, and that's really the pressure from Microwave. Good heavens. Crazio's natural is in propinquity of being broken, and although there are some Goliaths on the high ground, why are there so many Goliaths? They aren't all that good versus Hydras, okay, but versus Hydra Lurker, Ling and Microwave doing a very aggressive build on a relatively low worker count. Or at least this saturation here is pretty high, here pretty low. Might take a 4th base, but the Goliaths for now. The Comsat lives, and well, Crazio could do with a tank or 2 on the high ground. Good heavens, these Hydras are really meaning business. Oh, yeah, there we go. Boom! Haha! Tank on the high ground. And as long as the Hydras don't make the high ground, they are pretty low. But Crazio would do well to keep that tank siege there. Put a supply depot here, build a little bit of wall. This tank is already really exposed, but with the long range, it's doing quite well. These super mobile Hydras are doing such a lot of damage. There come more. But now with 2 tanks, the first tank is really exposed though. The Goliaths are too far in the rear. This tank is going to die as well, and Microwave is keeping pressure on Crazio like he's never felt before. Crazio though, with the 3rd base operational and some defense, looks like it. I don't know if there are marines in there, but the natural is broken, and of course Crazio is holding the high ground versus these Hydras. Have a peek at the upgrades. We've got the +2/+2 started Crazio on +1/+1/+2 as well, but Microwave has got the advantage. Got a muter over this constructing factory. Would be nice for Crazio to have an additional factory outside of its main base. And the muters, oh, that Irradiate could have done a little bit more. The Hydras are pulling everything. They are so eager to get in some SCV kills. The main of Crazio is mining out, and that's going to be a problem, as this 3rd is Crazio's only straw in this game. And Microwave still on 43 workers. No 4th base yet. That might be a deciding factor, because it's got such a hunger, and Crazio can't really establish a foothold in its own natural. Again, it needs the tanks. That's a good Irradiate, lots of damage being done. But, oh, now with the tank on the high ground, but the Lings and the Muters, the Comsat is down. There is another Comsat here, I fear. Yep, there it is. But Crazio is really fighting hard, and if the battlegrounds are your main natural, you are not doing at all well. The Hydras though taking a pounding, and this is where those upgrades for Terran come in. With the extra armor, I think mech units have an advantage over Zerg, but here comes the 4th base, and if Microwave is able to get that up, Crazio will be in a world of trouble. The main is out. The natural is unmineable because there are a lot of Hydras in it. And the tanks are just too exposed. SCV's taking damage, but this tank should be repaired now. 2 tanks on the high ground can take down a lot of Hydras, but still, you've got to play your tanks right. Small tank line, a couple of buildings or support units in front, and now the tanks are moving again. They should siege now because there is such a lot of Hydras again, and the support units should hold their position. They should sacrifice their lives for the tank. This time it works. Crazio's got 2 tanks, and the turret will be up again soon. The support unit should stay here. Tanks should start blasting right now, and this is that +2 weapons upgrade. It's 5 additional damage in splash for the tanks. With the Irradiates, Crazio bringing it back somehow, but there is a 5th base being started by Microwave. What a game. I think I like this game very much. 1 depot here would mean 500 HP or Hydras which couldn't directly attack the tanks. That would be something perhaps to work on. But now with the Goliaths and the repair going on, 2 tanks, or are there 3? No, there are still only 2 tanks, and that's going to be a bit of a bother. Okay, well the main is out. Ooh, Crazio with the drop, I missed that. Getting some back. But this is going to be a bloody nightmare because the entire map will be overrun with Zerg. Here comes, I think, a bunker. That's good. Or a deep... Is it a depot? No, it's a bunker. It's a bunker. And there are a couple of marines. So versus a pure Hydra composition with 3 more tanks. Oh, Crazio is going to love this. If Microwave keeps on building Hydras, if there are 5 tanks and bunkers and supporting units and science vessels, it's going to be a bloody nightmare. And look at how the science vessels are saving their energy. There are only... I don't really know what the irradiate logic for Crazio is. Another base being taken for Crazio might be a little bit better defended, but as you saw, this 3rd base of Crazio's hasn't been hindered at all by Microwave. The natural still got a lot of juice in it because it has been occupied by Zerg. And here we go, the mines! Ooh, the mines aren't there, but by now there are too many tanks in layers. That's good. The bunker is holding. And now, ooh, this irradiate's really evil. Look at the amount of splash damage it's doing. 2 irradiated Hydras are doing such a lot of work for Crazio. Oh my god, that's absolutely horrible. Well, for Zerg that is, for Crazio it's relatively good news. And there we go, another base, and I think this is going to be another base being taken by Zerg. The natural's out. And ooh, the dropship lives. Oh, yeah, that was very close. And more tanks now being built for Crazio. So Crazio's got the army supply advantage. And the problem for Microwave is that it's staying on this composition of Hydras and Zerglings. The worker count is relatively low, he hasn't been replenishing that. So that's going to be a problem. And Crazio's got this mine here, and Microwave doesn't appear to have any kind of built-in way to deal with that. And as you now see, ooh, we've got an Ultra. But these Hydras at this point are basically useless. You've got to have them into Lurkers and perhaps add a little bit of Defilers. Now with the Irradiate and with the tanks, 2 Science Vessels, I think 2 more might be ideal for Crazio. Land and Irradiate on this Ultra. And that is an Ultra as well, I think, or it's an Overlord or a Muter. I think it's a Muter. It moves like a Muter. This tank is untouched. I don't understand that at all. Crazio, though, is... oh, mined out its third. It's got a base here, and it's got a nuclear silo. Okay, well, let's hope we'll see some nukes today. Microwave is struggling to build an army because it's on such a low worker count, and it cannot take this base. That's really everyone playing a Terran should work on, because these Terrans are so pesky, dropping spider mines right at the spot where the hatchery is going to be placed, or the Nexus, or the enemy command center. And that's just a major bother for most AIs. You've got to have a little bit of script to deal with that. Crazio's army, meanwhile, is growing slowly but surely. A little bit gas-starved, a couple of SCVs blocked in. I don't know if they are trying to build something. Crazio should have some coding to supersede that. Lots of turrets here at the base. Turrets here as well, and a tank, that's good. Could do with a little bit of repair, but hey, what you know. And these Lings, they should... oh, we've got a Vulture here. And the Muters are not really dealing with that as best as they could. These Vultures are so quick. Now we've got 4 Muters. It should be enough to deal with these 2 Vultures. And still it gets away with a kill. So that's very important for Zerg to have... to take this natural, set up 2 Sunkens and a Spore so nothing can run in for free. And Microwave appears to be doing a Muter switch with another string of Hydras. That's so many Hydras. Crazio's army, though, is not really coming off the ground. It's only got the naturals, only got the 4th, and now building a 5th. And I really think that Microwave, if it had been able to take these bases earlier, or this one perhaps, it might be in a better shape. It might have harassed this 3rd base of Crazio's. And Crazio basically is being given another chance in this game. It's got a nice Terran neck ball, but it's not really big enough to move out yet. And that's an Ultra dying. Oh, that's unfortunate. It should keep out of harm's way, and harm being liberally defined as tank fire and irradiates. These tanks, though, are exposed. With a couple of Lings you could move in. And these Muters should be really careful, because by the looks of it, there is at least three irradiates in these science vessels. And taking another shot at this natural, this natural off the top base, it is not working, and it doesn't understand what's happening. Why can't you build there? Oh, and that's Microwave isolating this Muter. That's pretty well done. But Crazio's army is growing. It's at 80 now versus 44. Microwave hasn't got that much juice anymore. It's got 50 workers. Mining is okay, but it needs those bases, and Crazio is running away with this. Going to speed it up just a little bit because we've got a little bit of a standoff on our hands. The occasional irradiate, but the units are splitting, and now Crazio's moving, and you are going to need good arguments and lots of forces to stop a mech push like this if you are a Zerg. Crazio now not really colonizing this base. Oh, there is an Ultra, which might find some work to be done, but they all pass it by because Zerg knows that this push is the one to stop. If you crush this push, you are golden. If you don't, you are dead. And Crazio has got a nice number of science vessels, and the composition, this is basically an entire army of... oh, here's some units as well. And now there are drones coming. 5 lings might shut this entire operation down. Same for here, same for there. Microwave still concerned with the main army, and the main army I fear is going to be unstoppable by this number of science vessels. Look at the irradiate. No tank fire has been landed. No Goliaths have fired a missile. That's all been in irradiates. And Crazio is slowly but surely making a push. 103 supply. And Microwave now taking this base. But I fear it's going to be too late. Its army supply is floundering. And the Lings and the Ultras take some down, but then flop about again. They need to flank, they need to tear into this base, they need to make something happen. And Crazio playing it very smart, building some extra units, some extra turrets, just to soak up some extra DPS until the army arrives. And now there is one Ultra going... My god, what is this? Okay, so now the Ultras are in there, but they move about too much. They should kill things, that's what they are... Ooh, and this, the irradiates, oh god. Crazio is going to take this game, I fear. There are forces here, and there are forces at the natural, so the main tech area and the main production facility is being camped. This base is under attack, that base is under attack. This base still relatively untouched, but Microwave just couldn't get the eco going beyond the 5 bases it got to take without opposition. But then it got stranded on the spider mine, and Crazio took it from there. So that's very unfortunate. I think this is a good fight by Microwave. Crazio is about maxed. And look at the vessel cloud with all the irradiates it got. And the Ultra, well, it loses 200 hit points to an irradiate. It got vultures on its tail and is making its way into the base, but then takes a tank hit or 2 and a mine, and there it goes. So that's the GG. Crazio with a crazy game. And let's hop into the next game, which will be UB StarCraft AI versus Opprimo. And Opprimo, of course, playing random, is this time playing Terran, so what we've got is a TVT. And already I've shown you a couple of games with the big guns, and that's unfortunate, but there are so many players in the Twitch channel that it is increasingly hard to find games between bots which do not belong to the top. So either you get a game from a really good bot versus a middle of the pack or a lower tier bot, which is a smackdown, or you get a game versus 2 really good players. And that's unfortunate because you can't really show the nice things which occasionally happen if 2 mid-tier or lower tier bots fight each other. Oh, there we go. So we've got a nice marine push, but Opprimo's got this shut down with 2 bunkers and 2 tanks. So yeah, there you go. UB StarCraft AI going for another push, but I fear with the natural coming up, Opprimo bot will be in a primo position to take this game hands down. With the comset, no comset here, lots of marines, another barracks, 2 more barracks. Oh, that's a nice setup, but no natural, so that's a problem. And look at this tank line just waiting for this file of medic marine, and all the marines die to friendly fire. But with 4 tanks and these units filtering 1 or 2 at a time, that's just going to be a bloodfest. And now this SCV doing some little paint jobs on these tanks, nothing too major, and these tanks shut everything down and shoot everything to pieces. Now UB StarCraft AI going for how many barracks can you power on one base? 1, 2, 3, 4, 7 appears to be the right answer. And not taking another base, oh god. And here we go again. So now with some Goliaths to soak up some damage, these tanks won't get touched ever again, I think, and they shoot everything to smithereens. 2 bases for Opprimo. Will we see any more tech, or will we just see more units being built? Some marines being built as well, I find that curious. But then again, Opprimo is not known for its sophisticated build orders. And, well, tanks... Oh, this one got hurt a little bit, and will be repaired instantly. And there we go, a couple of stragglers being shot. This base will soon be mined out. Opprimo not taking a 3rd base, just building more, and you can see the army supply Opprimo at 24, and that's mainly in tanks. So yeah, Opprimo not doing too great either, but as long as there is no base here and UB StarCraft AI is mined out, So what's keeping you? No long distance mining, some gas being mined by UP. But no. Oprimo stuck at 82 supply. Oh, here comes the push. And here comes the third base by now. But no more units being built, just stops at 82, so random. Yeah, well, that's a nice contain. Units flipping out left and right. Nope. It's like that game, the Kalmorian Combine in the campaign, where you've got to bank 1,000, 10,000 minerals or something like that. I think Oprimo bot has won that 2 times by now. And this game is going to time out soon. Oh yeah, there it is. So on points it goes to Oprimo bot. Good. Next we've got McRae versus Andrew Smith, and I really want to do a game of Andrew Smith Skynet, one of the old guard Protosses. Andrew dropped from the scene about 4 years ago, and his bot is still a piece of beauty, so let's see how it's going to fare. We've got one scouting probe causing a lot of lost mining timing. That's pretty well done. And that's shield battery. So obviously McRae expects some kind of zealot shenanigans. Andrew Smith going for lots of zealots blocking the entrance. And here we see the much more modern 1-gate core and another gate. So perhaps a couple of goons. And no natural yet, no natural here either. These goons block everything off, so that's unfortunate. They've got 3 gates, couple of more pylons, that's the core. And that's the goon range, more gateways, but these zealots are slowing down the game of Skynets considerably. Skynet's got the double supply, but the tech is definitely in favor of McRae, and McRae's got the expansion up. This is just silly. It's a scouting probe. You could kill it. Hold your distance, boys. It might be dangerous. Today is a good day to die, but not for us, and not for that probe either. I don't know what this is, but it's quite silly. And McRae's got the natural up and running, so you will see this army disparity disappear and melt like snow before the sun. And there we go, lots of production, and Skynet's had enough. It's moving out, taking a natural of its own, and now camping this choke. Ooh, the action. And for a PvP, this is quite calm. Neither player really wanted to engage the enemy. And there we go. Here comes the war train going for these 2 zealots here, and that's a good decision. Because if you can clip 2 zealots without, well, a little bit of shield damage, but nothing major, you are doing okay. That's a good decision. And Skynet is sitting back in its own base for no good reason. Couple of probes stuck-ish here. I don't know what they are doing. More probes stuck, and that's silly. And now McRae is on the offensive. He's got the concave. Army supply-wise is in the advantage. More goons, some zealots here stuck behind enemy lines, and McRae is cleaning up Skynet. So, yep, there you go. 3rd base being taken, and Reaver Tech being added as well. Skynet breaking out for the time being, but it's down in workers, it's down in army, and what the bloody hell are these workers doing? I can't wrap my head around it. 3rd base for Skynet 2, so Skynet's not out of this yet. It's got some fancy tricks up its sleeve, can use Storm, and if you've got a Storm versus Reaver combat on our hands, that will be interesting. McRae, is mining out this mineral patch eventually, and then we'll have room for the drone probe transfer. Skynet's army is puny though. There is no tech on the back of this, or there is, but it's way too late. And this goon army of McRae's is just going to have its way with a couple of zealots and a couple of goons left for Andrew Smith's Skynet. Andrew has mined down these neutral mineral patches as well. That's pretty pro for a bot that old, but in the end it's just not good enough. It's just a little bit too late, a bit too sluggish, and you just see that these newer bots are faster in the decision making and faster to pounce. If they see an advantage, they'll take it. They won't just sit back and make a decision every once in a while, but they constantly evaluate, well, when can I attack, where can I attack, and this is going to be the game. So, GG, and why is this game in there? Okay, so I got a game of TSC Mu versus Crazio, and we've got the Zerg variety of Mu, and I promise you that? I think I can promise you that it will be the last game of 2 top bots today. And after that we've got about 10 games of the lesser gods. So there we go. Handful of Zerglings running in, shutting down the construction of the natural for the time being, and causing some lost mining times and some SCV losses here. And the Lings are now here out. Oh, where are they? They are here. And just doing a lot of damage to the infrastructure of Crazio. Marines dying. This SCV sneaking down right down the middle to kill that. Another drone coming off. I don't know what that's about. But natural for TSC Mu is up. And Crazio still got one badly damaged Ling in its base, which had better spend its time harass this SCV than try to kill stuff here. It dies now. 2 Marines coming off to help and defend the choke. TSC Mu going for a quick lair, sunken or a creep colony, and an in-base third. That's a really modern build order, I like that. And going for a lot of drones, so TSC Mu ahead in the worker count, that's something. Crazio's got the natural up though with a bunker and a medic, so doing pretty well there. TSC Mu with an untypical 2 defensive structure setup. Crazio going for a couple of turrets and a factory. TSC Mu, ooh, with the surround of the muters, and that's really something that keeps boggling me. It's just this pathfinding, selecting your own starting position versus through the natural and then into the enemy natural. So you place your defensive structures here and there, and the muters, although they are air units, keep trying to bust in through the main entrance, and I don't know why. They can take shots at this, they can kill this marine there, but Crazio is playing a little bit of a bio style, and that's interesting because versus virtually everything it used to play mech, but a bio. Ooh, and TSC Mu playing. Oh god, there is something coming here. The worker count is paying off. All the bases, oh well, this one, 2 more bases are being taken. Drones are already being transferred, and while the muters keep tabs on things, Crazio stuck on 2 bases. TSC Mu is setting up shop for a really big... Oh, there we go. 3 bases taken. Lots of macro hatches all across the map. Might be safer to build them just here, but TSC Mu with a really puny army of only 22 army supply versus a bio ball with marines and medics, and now a couple of Goliaths. I heard something shoot. And some stims. TSC Mu might also be pestering these buildings because it will trigger an attack warning on the part of Crazio's. This is going to be a third, just sneaking out and plopping down another command center. But TSC Mu is busy, 60 workers almost, this base saturated. That base will receive a fair number of drones as well. And TSC Mu now taking a couple of pot shots at this supply depot. No. Crazio with a small push towards its third. I don't know why it's selecting that one instead of this one. This base, of course, is a mineral only base, and well, you could do with a bit of gas. Although if you are playing bio, you can see Crazio's got a bit of gas stacked, and you just need the minerals for marines. TSC Mu though is taking shots at this depot. And there we go, Crazio mustering up forces, army supply wise, 40 versus 30, but this is going to be the ugly side of things because TSC Mu is building macro hatches everywhere, and this is going to be another base taken. That will be the scary part, and the army supply was 40 versus 30 earlier, but now it's going to be a hell of a bother for Crazio. We've got lurkers, and if you've got lurkers, you've got to have scans or science vessels. I think there are science vessels, or there's at least one, which is good, but you've got to manage them. And TSMU just keeping its distance, not attacking for the time being, taking another base, and oh dear, where is this drone going? Crazio with the army, it's bigger, it's 50 versus 40, but do not underestimate the economical prowess of TSMU. TSMU setting up shop to attack this base. Crazio sort of establishing a link to resupply this base, but TSMU is moving in now, and Crazio will have a hell of a job to fend it off. There are units here as well, not as many, but Crazio, his should be quick before this base is turned to stone. The Lings are not attacking, and that's a major error on the part of TSMU, because 10 Lings could have torn this this command center down real quick, but it lives. And that is something that TSMU should work on, just the conflicts, the major battles. Just tear it down, move out, don't just harass and pull back, just do damage, take the pain, and contain the enemy. Because if you can contain Crazy on 2 base, you might lose 50 supply taking this base. Just throw it away. You've got the eco, and Crazy on 2 base with the main nodes not really mining out. Look at the record speed in which TSMU is taking that map. Good heavens. And if you've got an army like this, you've got to trade, you've got to kill stuff. Just move in. A-move, all this shit. You've got all the lurkers. Build some more Lings and throw that at the enemy. And TSMU is harassing everywhere. Crazio with a thin purple line here with a medic and a couple of stray units there. But the army for Crazio still growing, still ahead of TSMU. And this base, ooh, here comes the Hydra push. I thought it was going to be impregnable, but now TSMU is taking the fights here while it should just tear down the command center. You've got Crazy on 2 base, you will be golden, but instead killing these poor workers and then losing more units while the siege tanks roll up. Trading, flanking the siege tanks. This is brilliant. TSMU is all over this. The support from the rear of Crazio is stalled because there is attacking going on everywhere. TSMU throwing away his whole army, but the most important thing is that although Crazio got about 30-40 army supply clipped, its 3rd base is still going, and that is the important thing that should be taken away from this conflict. The main is still not out, the natural is still not out, the 3rd is operational, and Crazio got a 4th to be taken relatively safely. And now there is a push, and TSMU is not good in dealing with large-scale conflicts. The Lings are sort of evaporating, the Ultras are not many in numbers, and although this army count is rising rapidly, look at the game. TSMU's got the entire map, Crazio on the back foot, and TSMU's refusing, oh here, a couple of Hydra shots, is really not efficient with his fighting capabilities, because the damage potential has been there 20 times to take down this command center. But it's just not working for TSMU at the moment. Crazio taking with turrets, with tanks, there must be mines somewhere as well, taking control of the map surely, and slowly Crazio is fighting itself back into this game. The army supply is rising, it's 25-30 ahead of that of TSMU, and TSMU cannot get the damage done for its life. It is a mess. This Ultra is going to be irradiated, take some mines, but 10 Zerglings and that base is gone. That base is history. And now TSMU pouring into this clump of tanks, but there are no Zerglings. It's a very expensive combination of Defilers and Ultras, but 10 more Lings and this would have been history. Crazio would have been gone. And TSMU, now the Lings arrive, but they are too late. Taking another shot at this tank position. More Lings coming in, and that's how you do it. Because if you've got the Ultras and the Swarm, the Lings do the damage and they can take care of all these tanks. The Scourge taking down the science vessel! And it just lived. But there are more Lings coming in. The 3rd base still untouched. The 4th base is still mining, and that is what's keeping Crazio into this game. But the army supply is nearly double for TSMU. There are rampant Ultras across the map. And there are Defilers, at least I think 2 of them. Everything is plagued. There are Ultras and Zerglings everywhere. And of course this is more exciting if you do it at 2 times the speed. You've got to talk fast, but the action is much better. Crazio on the back foot with 40 army supply, but TSMU is only at 60. But TSMU's got this infrastructure. It's got everything. The natural still not mined out. And wow, this base, although it hasn't been taken down, it has been depopulated. The 4th base is not mining. Crazio is on the back foot, and if you look at the natural, not mining at all. TSMU in a standard smackdown. It is Wow, this is so beautiful. TSMU, you can't let a Zerg get away with taking the entire map. And this base is not being taken by TSMU, I don't know why not. And TSMU, well, if it would have taken this base down earlier, it wouldn't have presented us with the beautiful, beautiful smackdown of 3-4 bases against the map. And now Crazio is really trying to make things work. Ooh, that's the BM move of the week. We've got ensnared workers, and we've got some more doubly ensnared workers. That is a lot of mining time lost, and Crazio is facing the march of the lurkers. There is Swarm, there are Ultras, and there are Lurkers. There are Lurkers all over this, and this is the last mining base for TSMU. This base going to be infested, or invested I should say, not infested. Perhaps it might be infested as well. But that's the game basically. We've got one in the red and one in the green. And oh dear, that's an ugly sight. All the hydras are being consumed, but there are so many more forces coming in. TSMU is maxed, almost maxed on 94 workers. And this doesn't really make sense because, oh well, there must be some in production still, but keeping its money down on so many bases. And that is, if your natural choke looks like this, there should be a script that instantly GG's, because the pain, oh god, the pain. And there are whirlwinds of consumes going off. The entire natural is blanketed in swarms, and the victorious Darth Vader Defiler invading the main, overseeing the instruction. If this is a diplomatic ship, bring me the ambassador. All the base of Crazio is going to pieces. Okay, we're going to cut it short because we've got more games to show, but yeah, that's that. Next game is Roman Danielis versus Mate Istnik, and I hadn't seen a game of Roman Danielis, a bot, a Protoss bot, which uses all the spells, including Disruption Web. It's just not fast enough to display it in most games, but we'll see how far it gets in this game. And at the other end, we've got Mate Istnik. It's got it's a really reasonable, reliable Terran, and it can still pack a punch. So, a clash of the older gentlemen in the pack. And as you can see, naturals being taken relatively low, stuff happening on one base. And there we go, lots of zealots and lots of bio added with some mech units. Now Roman Danielis taking the natural. A couple of well, that's a pylon and that's a cannon, but I think for now Danielis has got the edge, is going to find the enemy, and as soon as it does so, all the zealots converge upon the Terran position. First skirmish, no stim, but a lot of fire bats, and these do a lot of splash damage versus the zealots. Fire bats with medics, even without stim, eat zealots for breakfast, and that will reflect itself in the army supply. Istnik about triple that of Danielis, but the natural for Danielis is up. Army-wise, Istnik in a very good position, still almost double, and the goons don't get anything done either. It's a little bit sad because you are just throwing army away and might take a third base, and here comes, I think, the third base in the mineral only. But the army of Istniks is growing, and you can see how many goons have to die and how few units of Istniks are dying. So the army supply of Protoss will have to restart at 0 every time. Third is up, and it's waiting for some kind of brilliant technological advantage of Istniks, and that's an interesting place to take a refinery. But here comes the Terran push with the tanks, and yeah, these cannons won't hold. Istnik in taking a third behind the push, shutting it down with the tanks, pressing fire, supporting units in front, even got a Wraith. And although the tech of Danielis is sort of coming off the ground, it's not fast enough, and Terran's running away with this game. Oh, that's not expansion, that's just building placement. So Istnik taking the game of Roman Danielis, and you can't say it's undeserved. Roman Danielis threw away too many units without a cause. Would be nice if he came back, because for such an old AI, It's really something to have such a good grasp of the game, and if it might be a little bit more responsive, I'm sure it would be a pleasure to watch. So into the next game, it's Hannes Bradberg versus Tommy Fang. And I told you before that the selection bug has been fixed, and there is another bug which has been fixed too, so perhaps we're going to see something of that. I haven't watched this game, I haven't seen any of these games. I saw perhaps, I think... No, I don't know. I saw the human versus Crazio matches, but these games I haven't seen. I just picked them on the off chance it might be a good game. And Tommy Fang is going for a lot of units of one base. With the factory, Bradberg with the standard, and if you look at the high speed, it's very interesting because these units seem to be vibrating across the map. It is a scouting algorithm. The problem is they're not really exiting the base, and this marine here, yeah, and now he's found the enemy. And the marines are going to file in one at a time, but with a group like this, they can take down the medics, and the medics are advancing too far ahead of the troops. So Bradberg at this point is doing pretty well with the natural and... Oh, hello. What's this? Covert Ops? Yep, Covert Ops. But with the tanks, I think that Tommy Fang is doing quite well. And Bradberg will have some fighting to do before he can well, survive at all. A couple of buildings being built. Army supply way in favor of Tommy Fang's. And there we go, some hard fighting versus this eBay and another thing going on. Bradberg's got a couple of units, but they can't really do much versus these marines and fire bats with medics. And oh, perhaps it would have made a nuke, but I think we'll never know. We'll never know, because although these bases are being taken, the natural is being invested with tanks and all of one base, and that's unfortunate, and you can't really bring pure marines without medics or without anything to a M&M plus tank fight. It doesn't work like that. Now with the extra range of the ghosts getting some damage in versus the bio, so perhaps he might just once more clean the natural, and the tanks for Tommy Fang are stuck here. So that's something, and that's something that Bradberg may take advantage of. But this one tank, you just can't engage a tank on distance alone, and these marines are getting so low, and ooh, this tank is having a good day. Oh god. Ugh! It's just shooting and hitting all these low HP marines. Oh god. Tommy Fang taking an expansion with a couple of more barracks, and I think this is going to be a little bit of a potato game, but Bradberg can't really get out of his base, and yeah, there we go. Main base being shot to pieces. Tommy Fang with the improbable army movement, but no, this is not going anywhere. I think that's the main, and no rebuilding going on here. There is no mineral mining going on, just gas, and Bradberg is stuck. So next game, and we saw an update of Alien. Alien's back. Alien is fighting Purple Spirit, which, of course, a project of Dan Iron Fist Jadian is doing. Dan Gand is pretty impressive. Oh god, I missed that. Sorry. So, there was some marine pressure, and here it comes. The marines are going to hit the natural before the spawning pool is up, and that's going to be a bother. Some workers dying, and the natural might die as well, and that's a very quick command center. Now we've got some links, but they start on the scouting SCV, and only then secure the natural. Ooh, that was very lucky for aliens who have that hatch not shot to pieces. By now, Purple Spirit's got everything locked down, got the main and the natural workers supply nearly double, lots of marines, and might build some medics too. Oh, that's the academy. Academy's a little bit late. It was a bit of a greedy build by Purple Spirit. And now Alien trying to rebuild workers, got a sort of contain on the enemy that you can't really move out with pure marine. But when the factory starts building and this starts flashing and upgrading, it's going to be better for Terran. Lots of Zerglings, couple of Hydras, and no third base for Alien. Gas Alien was very much delayed, and I think that's going to be another... Ooh, that SCV can't get out. And that's a lot of Marines by Purple Spirit, and I don't know why that is. There is one tank. There we go, and the SCV gets out this time for a third base. Third base of Zerg started as well. And that perhaps might be something bots should take into consideration a little bit more. Just where are your own bases? How many bases are there in total? And which bases are being occupied by the enemy? Because if you let an SCV get out like this, you know you are going to do something very dangerous. And of course these bots don't realize that it is dangerous to let an enemy get a third base. They just act on some rules, and it should be a governing consideration that you can't let the enemy get more bases than you as a Zerg versus Terran. Lots of Marines cut down, and these Marines have no medic support, have got no mech support, and another base being taken by Purple Spirit. This, no, not going to work. One Link found this, another one will come to help, and the entire Terran army is coming around to stop this. Will they be in time? And this is how you do it with just 2 Lings, and the army coming over the ramp, but not fast enough, and now they are in there. And that's unfortunate because... oh dear, oh dear, oh dear. All the Marines try to reach the combat zone here, but there is a couple of lurkers and Lings fighting things off in this area of the map, and that's not good at all. Purple Spirit losing units like a madman, and that, as they say, will be the game, because Alien taking a 4th base. Supply is... well, army supply is double. There is... ooh, well, the 3rd is still... no, the 3rd is down. The natural's still up, and I can't really understand why a Purple Spirit is building such a wacky unit composition. It's really beyond me. But with 2 comsats and a reasonably placed turret, it might be okay, but Alien is going to swarm. And there we go, the bunker under attack with the repair! Oh, no, it falls. It falls, and by now there are 5 lurkers in your natural. I can't see this going anywhere. Now Alien's got tabs on all the bases, and that's how you do it. Just, this one might have an overlord or a Ling posted at it, and yeah, that's the game. Okay, so GG, welcome back Alien, and now we've got Niels Justin, who held a nice talk at the CRG convention about learning from replays. Let's see how it does against Garmbot. Garmbot, with the dispersive method, is going to be a force to be reckoned with still. And on a large map like this, it's going to be attacking moving units from all angles. And although there are 3 zealots, 5 zealots now, there is a sunken and there are many units. And you can see already there are combat units arriving at the main base of Protoss, which will make these units fall back and go off on a wild goose chase. Garmbot losing a lot of units, but is taking its 3rd base already. So 3 bases, might take one here for good measure. Army supply wise, Protoss way ahead. Lair coming up, and will we have some tech too? Not really, but we'll have a natural expansion. And this goon had better micro well, because otherwise it's going to die to a single Zergling. Oh dear, that's sad. And this assimilator might die to a single Zergling as well. This, oh goon, oh, and it will catch another one. It will corner this other goon as well. And the zealots, of course, the zealots are better. The zealots just fight, and the cannon takes care of the Ling. But the strength of Garmbot is that it will move units relentlessly from all angles. If this base has been saturated, it will produce combat units which will just move into the enemy. And then Garm will build another base somewhere else. So it's on 3 bases now. Earlier it used to build a lot more bases very quickly. It doesn't do that anymore, and I don't really know why. It's not why it stopped doing that. It was so good. By now it would have taken all the bases and filtering stray Zerglings and Hydras in every once in a while. Niels Justensen camping the natural choke, that's a good decision, it can do a lot of damage from there. But Garnbot taking another base, and all on the same side of the map. It might take bases here. Oh, it's got a lurker too. There might be a problem if the first lurker arrived and there is no detection. I hope that's going to be a cannon. Oh, we've got Dark Templars too. So this will be a bit of a wacky matchup, because Garnbot isn't really known for its... Oh, and the lurker gets down just in time. The zealots pile up on top of it. Oh god, that's going to be painful. And you can see a lot of them die, and oh god. Justensen's got the army advantage, but these two Dark Templars aren't doing anything. And the goons and the zealots just pile up on top of the lurker, and another base being taken by Garm. This base operational in all, 1, 2, 3, 4, going to be the 5th base. And although there are a couple of... oh, now the DTs are out there. That's pretty good. The goons are fighting off Hydras pretty effectively. And it's only this lurker. Oh god, I really need a kill screen like in the original StarCraft game to show that. Oh, and the damaged units are burrowing here for Garm. But this one lurker is really getting his money worth in kills. Goons versus Lings is something that Justensen isn't really good at the moment. That's going to be another base taken, this base being populated, so it's 5 versus 2 bases. Saturation is okay, so yep, but Justensen is not really just... Ooh, and it dies! The lurker dies, so now these two DTs are free to do as much damage as they want. Bad thing though that the Reaver got killed by a couple of Hydras, and Justensen is... Oh god, it walled itself out of its own natural. That's a pity. And Garm is going for another base. Going for another base, and it's just going to produce armies and filter them in one at a time into the enemy choke. Of course, the army supply of Justensen is bigger, but the natural is sort of undefended. Oh, there is a goon on the high ground now, and look at this. Oh, here we go. Nice zealot army. And I think you might kill a couple of bases, because if you don't, Garnbot is just going to take more and more units, and Justensen is trying to make its way across the map. Oh god, we've got a lurker again, and these DTs might die too if they are in Splash's way. Oh god, these lurkers are really doing so much damage. Unfortunately, they are pretty stupid too, so they won't really make that much of a difference in the grand scheme of things. The grand scheme of things is... Oh, that's a 3rd base for Justensen. That's pretty good. But these Reavers are stuck. This goon is stuck. I don't know how this goon got there, because it can't get in and there is no... Oh, that's a good question. But it does help fend off the muters. And the observers are here. So, although it's a bit of a potato match, Garnbot is finally... Oh god, every time I think, well, now Justensen's got this. There is a single lurker killing off a lot of units. But Justensen is... Nope, losing more and more. The main is slowly mining out. And we've got 4... Oh, well, lots of firepower, but 2 Guardians on the high ground doing a lot of damage. And Garn just building units left and right. And, ooh, that's a big money drain. And if this observatory dies, perhaps these oh god, the observers are here. They're not coming to spot this lurker thing going on in the natural. By now we've got multiple guardians, multiple lurkers. And once you get this whole map versus one base thing going, it's over. And that's why we love Garnbot. So, okay, showing by Justensen. Might deal with lurkers better, and well, of course, there are so many things to do if you are building a brutal AI. This was the game, and I will stop this onslaught, move on to the next game. And there we go. It's Overkill versus Hannes Bredberg. Hannes is going for... Okay, we're going to be a little bit quick about this, because I'm running out of time. I shouldn't make it too long, because... stuff to do. And there we go. So the Lings are coming in, and the Marines got this hands down. Natural, or well, sort of a natural coming up by Bradberg. And more marines being built as well. So every time, well, there was 3 Sunkens here, which might shut this down easily with a couple of neuters. It's okay, but because there are such a number of marines, oh god, sorry, stop. These neuters are pretty good at hunting in packs, so these marines can't get too much done. And there are 4, lots of damage. Yeah, it's a drawn-out game of hunting stuff down with neuters, but the neuter cloud is growing. And Redberg still not able to get a good show going with those things which can't be mentioned. And although it's got a lot of bases and a lot of SCVs moving between them... Oh god, what's this? The neuter flock is going to shut this base down very hard with the Zerglings, and Redberg is not really restarting. Oh, it's restarting. It's got a barracks. That's good, but by now there are so many neuters. If they find even a sliver of terrain, they will cut it down so hard. Yep, there we go. And it's just going to be one base versus the map, because Overkill is not really the most macro heavy bot, but it can take a lot of bases. And there we go. Lots of stray terrain buildings across the map. But this is over. Next game, it's Purple Wave versus Steamhammer. And Purple Wave's good, Steamhammer is good. So, but they're not the absolute top, so I wasn't exaggerating earlier when I said, well, not top bot games anymore. And there we go. So a bit of a standoff between Zealots and Zerglings. Zerglings seem to have it for now. Zealots are getting low-ish. There we go. And the Zerglings should just fight because, oh, the drones. Oh, and now just with the defender's advantage, I think that Steamhammer might just hold this. If the Hydra numbers start growing with a couple of links in here and there, they might just do it. But Steamhammer is suffering under the pressure because more Zealots are coming in, and Hydras need good micro. One gets trapped, there are 3 more, and although a couple of workers are dying as well, that's the bad news for Zerg. But the 3rd base is up. Oh, that's an Overlord. The 3rd base is up, and Steamhammer with a couple of rounds of drones should be in a good position, but it's just losing so many workers, albeit at the expense of the entire army supply of Zealots of Purple Waves. Purple Wave very aggressive, I don't know why, but now it's got a couple of goons as well, and these 2 Hydras, well, though a couple of links to... There is a lot of Protoss out on the map. The army supply is about double, and Zerg, I feel, is building too much infrastructure and not enough army, resulting in 2 goons in its natural, which are being dealt with-ish. But it's just taking way too many damage because it can't muster a decent force to repel this gateway incursion. And by now there are so many goons that it will be impossible for Steamhammer to do so. So Purple Wave with a very good 1 base aggression, and only now the naturals being taken. I think it's going to be a GG, yep. Well, just to be sure. That's the main. And leave the eggs. That's a good decision, I think. And now look for the enemy with the entire army at once. And yep, there we go. So, GG. Oh, sorry. No, I don't. I don't want the bloody App Store. I just want you to play my bloody game. So, Microwave, with the updates. Hope they'll be interesting. Versus Ice Labs. And Ice Labs doing the worker shuffle. And... ooh, that's some very good aggression. Will there be a marine in this bunker or not? Yeah, there will be, but without repair. Oh, repair! And the Lings don't dare engage this bunker. Lots of workers died though, so that's good. At least for Zerg, not for Terran, of course. And it's strange how one always takes either the position of the victor or the attacker, or in my case, the Zerg. And oh, that's a combat sim thing. There is only 1 marine in there. These Lings might either run by or do some horrible damage. Icebot saturation okay, but yeah, that's enough Marines, and with 2 bunkers you're pretty safe. Microwave should take advantage of this and take more bases, just not build macro hatches. But of course I'm not really a coder, so I'm not really a good player either, so should just shut up. And the bunkers now have got this locked down. Oh, we've got 1 scan and 1... Oh no, not 1 lurker dies. It's lurker week once again. It's so hard to play against lurkers. The moment they unburrow though, they've got 2 tanks on top of them. And the tanks, the scan, 1 tank dies. Another scan, but there are too many lurkers by now. I feel we've got 3, the ramp is scan, 5, 6 lurkers. Good heavens, what a number of lurkers. And although, yeah, the tank dies, and that is the game. Microwave, what an aggressive build that is, and we see that a lot. Just aggressive play with 1 or 2 bases with lurkers, just to make it so much more difficult for the enemy, and that is another GG. So, Team Hammer versus Martin Royker's Litterbot on a relatively small map. So Litterbot being known for its aggressive play with large armies, and previously used to be known a lot for cheesy bunker rushes and things like that. It's a pity it doesn't do that anymore, because it's such a lot of fun to watch, and of course it's good for the other bots as well to learn to counter that kind of stuff. Now we've got some Lings which are not so brave, and we've got some Marines, but they are chasing the scouting drone, and these Lings are not shutting down the natural either. I think that's a little bit of suspect decision making. And the Marines are all chasing this one stupid drone, while the Zerglings are in among the natural SCVs, shutting that down, and then moving out again. Really quite beyond me. And this is just sad. This is so sad. So sad. Will, please shoot the bloody... It's like the golden goose, is it? Like all the people are chasing one goose and getting glued to one another. It's yeah, this natural, these SCVs here have got a very... Oh, and now the Zerglings have attracted the attention of the Marines by attacking them, and Steamhammer now building 2 Sunkens, might have taken and populated a 3rd while all this non-aggression by Litterbot was going on. Litterbot, like ice, throwing down 2 bunkers, just being safe. And just a handful of... Oh, we've got muters. Muter alert! Reep, 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 reep. And... Ooh, the medics. The medics are in there, but there are so many muters. No, the muters don't really... They don't dare. And there are so many Marines with Stim, I think. It's good muter micro, though. No 3rd for Steamhammer yet. And the muters are just... Yeah, sniping things left and right. Might do something about these medics as well. But these muters are having their way with the main. And these Marines are messed up in their priorities, because if you've got this number of muters in the main, you should be in the main with these medics and not stand here in the natural. Okay, now they come off, but the muter count is too big, and still only a 2 base, so it's aggression weak, just a couple of bases. Oh, and the Marines are not inside the bunkers. Oh god, Litterbot, how can you do this? That's really not a good game by your standards. Why? By your standards, really. And now it is, yeah, that is the good game. Still no 3rd by Steamhammer. I think that's going to be a hive. Oh god. Going to call the GG before this gets any worse. And let's get into Purple Spirit versus Yuan Hengzu. I'm not going to pronounce that in Chinese. My Chinese is horrible. Versus Purple Spirit, which we saw with a rather suspect Terran build order earlier. I don't know much about Zhuan Hengzu, but I am confident it's going to be interesting. Oh, with the cannon rush at the enemy ramp. And double proxy barracks. Ooh, and if you... did you see that? There were Marines out there, and that other probe just snuck in there and planted another Oh god, yeah, that's not good. And I think this is the game, because although you might attack this base here, the Marines are coming back to help and defend against the cannons, and there is no logic that says, well, if there are no minerals, there are no more cannons to be built, and you are safe up to this point. Oh dear, oh dear. This is going to be painful. At home, nothing much happening. No more cannons being built, besides, no, by now these Marines have got this, and they shut down any probes reinforcing. Oh god, this is going to take forever, isn't it? This is going to take forever. Oh dear, oh dear, oh dear. The Marines will die, this extra cannon will die forever. And... oh! Hey! That's, it's quite good for a cannon rusher. It's now also rushing the barracks. And perhaps now it will be better here with more cannons, and you should build towards the enemy. But I really don't know what's wrong with this cannon rusher, because it stops here and it's got some money. And what's it doing here? It's building towards there. Oh, and oh god, this is just the most BM thing ever. Building a couple of gates in the enemy main with the zealots, and the zealots are going to town on the supply depot, and all these cannons shut this down. No more cannon aggression here, but this is just the most BM build order you ever saw. The zealots are now moving their slow way across these buildings, and that's the GG. A GG! And it's this time it's Marikadik, one of the renowned Terrans of old. Does some bio-mech hybrid play of a couple of bases, a rather bit slower in expanding than you'd normally see in your bots, but still pretty decent. At the other end we've got Forcebot. And what do we know of Forcebot? I don't... Oh, it's one of the goal guys. Oh god. In a master's thesis, its ELO isn't too good, but from what we see here, it's quite respectable because it defends, it expands, and builds units. So what can you do from there? There is a Terran push with Marines and medics, and this looks like some kind of tech, so that's good. Spire, natural up. Oh, and a small conflict, but the medics are just too good for this Terran ball, and there are no more units. Ooh, this road is very brave, and it's very dead as well. You've got one neuter, which is very dead as well. And now it's up to these three Sunkens to make the magic happen. Two Overlords don't really do much in the way of damage. Another macro hatch being built, and the siege is on, but with the medics I can't really see these two Sunken hold this, and Marikadik being too strong, and perhaps I should have taken a somewhat weaker opponent for Forcebot, but it needs... oh, well, it just takes such a lot of work to build a good AI. Last neuter dies, penultimate neuter dies. Let's hop into today's last game. It's Tier Protoss versus Microwave, and Tier Protoss is known by now for its aggressive timing attacks of 1, 2 or 3 bases. I think 3 bases is max at the moment. And Microwave was doing a lot. Oh, I've seen about 2 or 3 games of him today. Of it. Of course, it's not a boy. It's a boy! It's a bot. But also very aggressive. And now it's a handful of Zealots versus a handful of Lings. We've seen that before. And the probe just gets away without too many hit points lost. Another one's trying to... oh, that's very brave. And the Zealots immediately move out to protect it, and these Lings haven't got the balls to attack it. What will we see here? Nothing much. Microwave is building workers. A good decision. 2 Sunkens, always a good decision if your enemy is playing lots of Zealots. And that is shaping up to be some kind of gateway push with Zealots, with Goons. And of course there are a lot of lings, but there is only so much you can do with lings. That is the +1 attack, so if these zealots get +1, these lings are basically only worth about 70% of their nominal worth. And what will we see here? We've got a Spire, we've got some Mutas, and the Zerg is pressing the attack, but is the +1 done? +1 is not yet done, and that might be a good time to attack, but with the workers being drawn, and the goons, and a couple of zealots still in the rear, Protoss holds. Is there a third base? There is no third base. I think Microwave is going to try and all in this. The problem will be that +1 will finish any moment, and I think it has now. Yep, that's done. And the Zerglings are just not going to do anything. And again, we see that slow, nasty pathfinding thing that will say, well, you've got to enter through here, even if you are a flying unit, and all kinds of juicy things which you can reach through here and here. It's not really working. You've got to... The pathfinding keeps sending them through here, and there are Scourge, which I don't like because there is no enemy air unit. There is no third, and that's all very unfortunate. There is a macro hatchery, but in situations like this you really need to be a base up versus the Protoss, and I think that once this gateway army gets moving, Zerg will be in a hell of a problem. So that's this week's theme. It's the playing field is leveling out, Crazio is bleeding because it's getting sniped by aggressive builds, and it's really all about the 1-2 base aggressive builds with perhaps lurkers. Lurkers have really been a thing this week too. Perhaps next we'll see more DTs. And we saw a brilliant game of TSC with Zerg. I love that bot so much. Microwave hasn't got the juice to do anything about this. This third is way too late. Tier Protoss with the heavy goon army. Ooh, how much damage can these mutas do? They are doing a lot, but they didn't fight in tandem with these Sunkens, and all the drones are down. And even if these mutas somehow manage to kill off all the goons, which I don't think they will, because the goons are so strong. No, the goons appear to be having it. I think this is over, and Tyr taking a third base behind this. Lots of infrastructure, just very heavy gateway play, and it's aggression week officially. So even without a predefined theme, I declare this week aggression week, and that is the game. So this was this week's broadcast of the Student StarCraft AI tournament. Come and visit us at our website and watch these beautiful monsters play 24/7. You can vote for whichever one you want to see play. You can learn how to install the Brute War API on your own computer and play against these bots. And you can also get into coding these bots yourself, which of course is the noblest pastime for any gentleman out there. So thank you for watching, and see you again next week. Goodbye!